Have you ever wondered why the Ottoman Empire, once a major power in Europe, stayed mostly quiet during the Napoleonic Wars? With Europe in chaos and two of its biggest rivals, Russia and Austria, distracted or weakened, you'd think the Ottomans would seize the chance to expand their territory and rebuild their power. But they didn't. Why? What held them back at such a critical moment in history? At the end of the 18th century, the Ottoman Empire wasn't exactly at its peak. For decades, their military had been on a losing streak against the great powers of Europe, and their territory had been steadily shrinking. One big problem? Their army was outdated. The once elite Janissary Corps, who were originally loyal only to the Sultan, had become a political force more interested in protecting their privileges than winning battles. While European armies were modernizing with better tactics and equipment, the Janissaries were clinging to old ways, which left the Ottomans at a major disadvantage. The Sultan at the time, Selim III, knew the Ottoman military desperately needed reform. He even reached out to France to help modernize, but then the French Revolution threw things into chaos. And instead of offering support, Napoleon himself invaded Ottoman territory in 1798, hoping to establish a French foothold in the Middle East and threaten British India. The invasion didn't last long, thanks to British intervention, but the damage to Franco-Ottoman relations was done. By the time Napoleon left Egypt, the Ottomans had suffered huge losses and their trust in France was shaken. Still, the Ottomans didn't join the Napoleonic Wars on either side. Why? First, Austria, one of their traditional rivals, made it clear they had no interest in expanding further south, which allowed the Ottomans to focus their resources elsewhere. Second, the Sultan prioritized military reform over starting new wars, a move that infuriated the Janissaries. When Selim tried to push reforms, the Janissaries revolted, deposing and eventually killing him. Political instability like that made it nearly impossible for the Ottomans to take advantage of Europe's chaos. Meanwhile, both sides of the Napoleonic Wars were trying to get the Ottomans on board. Napoleon promised to return lands Russia had taken from the Ottomans if they allied with him, but unsurprisingly, he didn't follow through. Russia, on the other hand, invaded Ottoman lands directly, forcing the empire into a 6-year war that left them even weaker. In 1812, when Russia pushed for peace, the Ottomans agreed, ceding territory they couldn't afford to defend anymore. Ironically, just a month later, Napoleon launched his invasion of Russia, a move that could have been a golden opportunity for the Ottomans to strike back if they'd had the strength. By this point, though, it was too late. Years of war had drained the Ottoman military, and Napoleon's fortunes were starting to decline. Joining him was no longer a smart gamble, and siding with his enemies wouldn't have gained the Ottomans anything. Instead, they were left sitting on the sidelines, watching Europe's wars reshape the world while their empire continued to stagnate. History is full of what-ifs, and this is one of the most fascinating. What might have happened if the Ottomans had been stronger or bolder during this chaotic time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the twists and turns of history.